Well, first of all, what don't you like about the middle of this map compared to Lost Temple?
It's too good for Zerg. It's,
Oh, okay.
and not
Just
so
like that,
big.
yeah, it's like ridiculously wide open, and then there's also I don't like that they removed the Cell Night watchtowers on the. They just put one in the middle, which is useless unless you're cross positions, and then they removed the other ones, which was, good because you could actually fight over control of those and kind of keep an eye on everything. So it makes it a lot harder for scouting, which I think detriments the game just in general. Let's see. So
yeah, this is a lot more open in the middle. They can actually go around. Always go around the sides if they're too scared going around the middle. Through the bushes here.
yeah, but it's actually not
It's actually
like
slower.
you can still flank that. It's actually not
Yeah.
bad for Zerg still, even the sides, and you can
Yeah.
just easily ignore that army and go counterattack if you feel like it.
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
It's definitely a big improvement, especially for Zerg, though, like in so many aspects. I guess we can start going over, but one of the most obvious things is they don't have a ledge over your natural anymore.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of Zergs hated ZVT on that specifically because of that. Because,
Tank and Thor
just
drop.
tank drops, tank torque drops on your ledge.
Yeah.
Made it so you had to kind of change your early game strats, like your fast XO builds. And you had to do some really weird builds. And on the old Lost Temple, I think that if you don't have good scouting info, all you know is they're on one base. I don't think that you can defend against every possible one base all in.
Yeah, absolutely.
You kind of have to guess right, I think that you can stop a tank drop on ledge. I think you can stop Thor drop on ledge, but I don't think you can stop
that
every.
plus
You know what I
Marauder
mean? Like, you
Hellion
kind of have to
and
guess
Marines
right.
or yeah, exactly. And scouting is really hard. Like you might be thinking at the stream like, oh, just scout then, but it's really hard against a good turn that will have like Marines patrolling around the
Yeah.
base.
Well, it's not the fact that you don't want to sacrifice an Overlord. It's the fact that you can sacrifice an Overlord and still not know anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like you can just pay an Overlord to scout. It's you can pay an Overlord to maybe scout. So.
Right, exactly. So that was always an issue. Now there's a few new things and a few things that I don't like. Let's see this space between between the rocks to your, you could call it a third, I guess, not really. And your main, you should just look out for cheese there every time, because that's
You mean the gold?
right behind the gold, in between the rocks and your natural.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like proxy heaven, but it's,
Yeah.
it's whatever. Just make sure you scout there.
Yeah.
Now, close positions, I feel like are still good for Terran, but it's also like it's gonna be a longer game, for the most part. 2 racks openers, all that shit, still viable on this map, absolutely, unless maybe you're cross positions. But
for sure.
if they decide to break those rocks with tanks, you can probably play it like Chakras too. Where you just on close positions, where you just have a siege line, planetary fortress on your third, and start going towards the Zerg's natural expansion. And not just that, but it makes it impossible for the Zerg to take that gold if you're in close positions, because they can actually hit it from their natural with tanks. So I really don't like that at all.
That's one. I mean, that's like Tank Marine pushes kind of unstoppable plus bomb on this, just like Lost Temple. I mean, they can take the one on the top, like the island, but just like an old Lost Temple, they can actually just take the gold as their slow tank pushing, and take the gold as their third while they're so. I mean,
actually.
The planetary there gives too much control, especially since it can cover tanks, and tanks can actually just shoot into your natural, so.
Yeah, and you could just put like a tank behind your gas, and that would cover the back entrance, which would be the counter to that as Zerg. So yeah, that's a weird new mechanic. It could be okay. We'll have to figure it out. It's not quite as bad as Chakras is in close positions. It's definitely a wider range of shit to cover. But yeah, that's just gonna be close positions. Everything else is better, except for the middle of the map. I really don't like that the Selnaga watchtower is in the middle. It seems pretty much useless unless you're in cross positions. And I think the middle is, I think the middle is way too wide open. No one's ever gonna fight there against her. So
I do like how they took the islands out, because I don't think the islands have a good dynamic. I think the islands are too strong in a lot of situations. I think the islands are too strong. I guess versus Protoss in general, like ZVP and TVP.
Yeah.
It helps Zerg a lot, simply put, I think.
Yeah, Zerg. Oh, it helps Zerg versus Protoss a lot. I'm not. Terrans are pretty good for Terran. Islands are pretty good for Terran too.
Yeah.
A lot of times. So.
Absolutely. So, yeah. Sean, what are your first thoughts on this map? I don't know if you've been following or Joshy.
I just got back. So what I think right now with this ridiculous open center, except for like those few points, I'm thinking right now amazing for Zerg. I'm thinking I can do some sort of Roach Hydra here against Terran.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking especially with the Infestor buff, Roach Hydra and Fester. There's no cliffs. Roach Hydra and Fester here could be a freaking amazing.
Yeah, there's actually cliffs where you could put tanks, but they're pretty fucking useless for tanks. Like the only thing that I was thinking about this, and the only thing would be like put one tank in the cliff, and then one tank on the player's base. That would be kind of okay, but other than that, it's just, you know, you can just completely avoid them. There's no reason to put anything on them unless you're being super aggressive, like, I don't know,
yeah.
Stupid cliffs.
Like you mean a push from the third?
How's it really different from Roach Hydra? I think that makes Roach Hydra probably stronger against mech, but I mean, if they just mass bio and you go Roach Hydra,
Infestor.
Yeah, I guess it's just adding an Infestors that might help versus that. But.
Well, actually, early in the beta, the answer to bio was Roach Hydra for the most part. Like the more Marauders they get, the more Hydras they get. Hydras are pretty fucking good against Marauders.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah. I mean,
the problem was, like, the only map it wasn't good on that we thought was stupid was Coolest, and that was because it had so many tight chokes, or even any tight chokes where the Terran could go.
Yeah.
And on this map, there's absolutely no place where a Terran can attack you where you can't flank, you can't have your army spread on like a ridiculously huge arc, or you can't counterattack from pretty much.
Even under natural, like again, actually, this map is gonna be really hard to expand for Terran and Protoss. And actually, in this particular map, you can actually hold.
They did change that
with spine clovers, probably.
Imagine a Hydra push on this map, close positions.
Yeah.
They cannot force field to stop you for anything, anywhere. That's ridiculous.
You mean Hydra push through the rocks at the top?
No, just like early Hydra rush against a Protoss. Excuse me.
Yeah. I think
I don't know. This is still way more close. If you're not talking about going from the where the old island was, this is still way smaller than Metal. You know, this is actually still the smallest choke out of all the maps. Like Lost Temple was like by far the smallest, the old one, but this is. I mean, this is still really small.
But it's still ridiculously open. I mean, you would have to build and make buildings on that choke, which would be good for Hydras, because any farther away, any closer to your ramp and your natural is way too open. And like if you don't cover the left, I'm looking at Josh Sutt's base. If you don't cover the left with buildings as well, you can even make a better arc. Like you can just walk.
Yeah, if you get far enough into it where you can actually use the left arc too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm guessing most people will be trying to cover the choke before you get to the left side. You know.
It's gonna be really tough. I feel like what Chet was saying. Like imagine just a 2-base Hydra, really fast Hydra push. Even if you cover that choke, you're gonna lose like 5 buildings.
I don't think it's any more different than Metal though. Like Metal is way wider.
No, Metal's a lot smaller than this, I think.
Yeah, the thing is with Metal, no, it's wider. But the thing is with Metal, you're defending both your natural and your main. You can't really defend like your natural unless you're on that tight choke, and to do that, I feel like you're gonna need to block it with buildings, which is pretty impossible. I feel like. I mean, how else can you defend from Zerg this wide open choke? How do you think, Stripe? Like, I don't know.
You mean Protoss?
Yeah.
Force fields.
Force field this shit?
Yeah, you can easily force field this stuff. I mean, you don't have to force field the whole thing off, but I mean, you can still slaughter Roach Hydra attacks with force field.
It's not Roach Hydra. It's like that early either Roach or early Hydra. Yeah. The only way you could stop it was
tier 1 Roach speeding on one.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, its force fields would be really good on this. I mean, this is not any worse than metal, right? Roach speeding all in.
Yeah, it is. I think.
I think so too.
I think metal's easier to. I think it's way easier to roach speeding someone on metal all in than